Welcome back to another video. Now, today's video, we're going to be coming off the back of British boxing pretty much. So, last night I actually did this video, but when I went back to edit it, it turns out I'd never even turned my mic on. So, the whole video was just silent, which was emotional because it was at the point where Nick Ball was just about to walk out as well. So, we're going to build up from this card. So, I only started watching it from Hassan Azim, and I mean, what a boxing clinic he put on. Absolutely amazing. The brother of Adam Azim as well. These two brothers, they're just going to be taking over British boxing, let's be honest. They adopt this sense of new style boxing, which you see a lot now. Like, you see like the youngsters like Jaden Price, how good he is and how much success he's had. It's just that new style of boxing where it's just in, out, just constant repeat. It's just don't get hit, move slick, shoulder work, everything. Just there's a lot going on, but because it's been repped so much, it just becomes second nature. Because they're able to train like that, their fights are just so easy for them because no one's willing to go to that level, even in training. But these new style of boxes, and thankfully, it is coming through the British scene. And you've got boxers like Jaden Price, Adam Azim, you've got Hamza Shiraz, all these people, and there's so many more that I could name that have this new style of boxing. And it's so clean to watch because Hassan Azim last night, I feel like if he rushed his work, he could have got his opponent out very, very fast, which he technically did. I believe it was the third round he got him out, third or fourth. I think it was the late third he got him out of there. But the level of maturity and calmness that he has in his fights, and he's so young, is unreal because the maturity he has when he fights is crazy. To have that level amount of skill, to have that amount of skill at that age so early and be so composed with it, you're only going to get better, and it's going to be dangerous for anybody in that division or one above, one below, or even two above, two below, because let's be honest, these fighters can make it these days, especially when they're so young. But want to see them dominate in their own divisions. I feel like Hassan Azim will have no problem doing so. His boxing's so clean. What a performance he had. And then going up from that, we had Andrew Kane. Now, Andrew Kane, my God, I need to get into this in depth. Now, Andrew Kane, in this bout with Gonzalez, my God, what a fight. I feel like leading up from the first bell to, say, 6th, 7th round, I feel like Andrew Kane was quite stiff compared to his usual self. I feel like he was kind of locking up on everything, and then he just, even though his boxing looked very fluid and cute, he looked very tense and on edge, if that makes sense. And then he faced some adversity. He got dropped. He got dropped with a body shot. And it took an effect because he went back down again not long after the first time. These weren't no glancing body shots. These were heavy, very well placed body shots from Gonzalez, and what an operator Gonzalez is. However, Andrew Kane goes back to the corner. Do not count him out. He went back to the corner, come out in the ninth. It was just a different fighter. He was just a different fighter, even after adversity, where most people would be ready to quit. The judge of character that he must have inside of him, because he came out of there, looked loose, looked so comfortable. The distance management was unreal. And then he put it on him. He landed a left hook that actually lifted Gonzalez off his feet, genuinely lifted him off his feet. And it was just well timed because it was as Gonzalez was off balance with a shot himself. He overextended, put himself off balance to try to finish off where he left the round. But Kane, he just, I don't know what was it. You have to be at that level of boxing to understand how he knew that was there, because at the time, yes, I see that Gonzalez was off balance, but I did not realize he was in a position to throw and counter from that. That just proves the levels, because I will never, ever, ever be that level in 5 lifetimes. I would never, ever be that level of Andrew Kane. So it makes you understand, as a fan who also trains very low tier boxing, kickboxing and Muay Thai, these shots can be available So it makes you appreciate it, because where you don't think it's available, they just prove their levels and make it available. It's absolutely unreal, because he knocked him down with a left hook. That one that put him off balance is unreal. That placement and the timing. And then shortly after, he survived the standard 8-9 count, and then he got the finish. But a massive cut opened up on Gonzalez's eye, right below the eyebrow. It was like in that region here. It was only going to be a matter of time. Gonzalez did like kind of look, say, "What do you mean? Like I'm ready to go." Like he was, but he looked like he wasn't. It was a very good stoppage. I'm not saying it was a bad stoppage, because it was a good stoppage, because it would have just been inevitable. That round he would have been out of there anyway. That's my opinion. Obviously, I can't look into the future, but from where the tide was going, you can see where it was going. That was that bout. And then who was it after? Was it Jack? After that one, it was Jack Turner. And Jack Turner just put on an absolute clinic. This level of British boxing is just upped. What are we putting in the water around here? Like, I mean, they could put a little bit more of where I'm from, but from their area, I know Azim isn't Scouse, but Kane, Turner, and obviously Nick Ball, they're all from that neck of the woods. Their level of fighting, like their styles, like what is in the water down there, that genuinely, because Jack Turner put on an absolute boxing clinic. His opponent had no right being in the ring with him. Genuinely had no right. People might have said beforehand, fair enough, decent fight for a stage of his career, but mismatch. And that's not because of the promotion and the build up of a fighter. It's just because of the levels of how good Jack Turner is. It's not his fault that he's that good. Well, I mean, kind of it is, because he puts the hours in, but he just genuinely is that good, just so good. I think he got him out there. I think that was best of 2-3 rounds. I can't really remember fully, because I was so caught up on Nick Ball versus Brandon Figueroa. Now, it was going so well, but what a fight it was from Figueroa and Nick Ball. It was very close. I had it even going into the 10th, but then I feel like Nick Ball might have took the 11th. I feel like he might have took the 11th, and it was do or die in the 12th, really. For either, it could have gone. The 11th could have gone either way. Genuinely, even if it went to the decision, it would have went either way. It would have probably went to Nick Ball regardless, but it could have gone either way. That's how close it was. It was just so hard to score. Like, it was one of the only boxing matches that I've actually watched. I've been able to score it as it goes along, because I'm like watching. I'm thinking he's landed two. He's landed two there, but he's landed three. But then his next shot was significant. It was mental trying to even score that fight. But what a show of clinic from both guys. Like a show of heart from Nick Ball. He got dropped in the 12th, and then he got back up, and then unfortunately put back down again, which is it's very upsetting to see, because of how much you've got to feel for Nick Ball, like you genuinely do, because he's not wanting to take a fight of that magnitude in his hometown if he genuinely doesn't have the belief that he can do. Like he obviously thought that he could step up to those levels, and I don't blame him, because it was a very very close fight, and you got to think about it. Figueroa, he's still only 28, I think, so he's not past it. People saying that he's a former two weight world champion, as if like he's done. He's not. He's 28. He's barely even touching into his prime yet. And it's probably the start of it now, after beating a guy like Nick Ball, because yes, he has the controversy of his height. He's people saying, "Oh, he's too small," but you watch him fight. Like what people say, you don't know how good he is until you're in there with him. I'm not trying to get in there with Nick Ball, no way, because you hear the pros all the time from weight classes above say how good he is of a technical fighter. People think he's a one trick pony. He just wants to land that screw hook, that screw left uppercut, or that overhand right. But that's not the case. He does switch hit as well. He's able to. You're not able to be a switch hitter boxer quite comfortably if you're not good at boxing. If you're just a one trick pony, you're not able to do that. But Nick Ball can. So it's a very tough thing for him right now. It's a very tough thing for him. But not of boxing. Just genuinely. Overall, it's going to be hard to beat. It's going to be hard to beat because the crowd was booming, obviously, until Nick Ball. And I don't know what the aggro was between Figueroa's corner, everybody, the hostility. I get it. He's an away fighter, and your hometown fighter just lost. But there's no need to start throwing like drinks and stuff at Figueroa just because he's celebrating. Now he might have said something, like the corner might have said something to somebody that I don't know of. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there was. If it was him just celebrating, he's owed that. He's put in an absolute boxing clinic as an away fighter, come to the guy's hometown, booed all the way down. He deserves to celebrate his win. As bad as it is for Nick Ball losing, he still showed incredible heart from getting down. He was literally face first onto the canvas. You don't normally get up from those. When you're at that point, that's kind of the fight there. You're not getting back from it. But he showed adversity, showed heart, got back up, and huge kudos to him. But it's an exciting time for British boxing because leading up to now, we've got Moses Atalma versus Jermaine Franklin. You've got Lee Wood versus Josh Warrington. Dave Allen on the undercard of that fight, which we will be predicting that and reacting to that very soon. And what else you got? Fury Makhmudov. That's obviously in April. What other British boxing we got? Can't think off the top of my head. Can't think. But yeah, what an exciting time for British boxing because this year is going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy. Chisora, Deontay Wilder. There we go. Looking forward to the rest of the year. But as for now, I want to say thank you for coming across another video. If you wouldn't mind leaving a like on this video, if you're watching this on TikTok, please feel free to leave me a follow. If you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to leave me a subscribe. It all generally does help towards the algorithm. And once again, thanks for coming across another video, and I will catch you in the next one.